I need you to do something before we start. Open Brave right now. Go to the menu, click Settings, then About Brave, and look at the version number sitting there. Remember it, because in about 90 seconds, I'm going to explain exactly why that number is lying to you. Here's where this started for me. A few weeks ago, I went back through the popular Brave setup guides that dominate search results in YouTube, the ones people still link inside Reddit threads whenever somebody asks how to harden their browser. I started following the instructions step by step. Step 1: Open Shields. Step 2: Find fingerprinting protection. Step 3: Set it to strict. Except there genuinely is no strict setting anymore. There hasn't been a strict fingerprinting mode in Brave since version 1.64. Brave announced that decision back in January of 2024 and published their reasoning openly.
Strict mode also crashed over 15% of Windows 10 browsers in 2019.
That it's switched on. Here's the part that should genuinely make you sit up. That tiny group was arguably easier to fingerprint precisely because they were such a small, distinctive crowd. Brave removed the setting because keeping it around was actually making a handful of privacy-conscious users more identifiable, not less. So every guide still telling you to hunt for that drop-down is sending you after something deleted more than 2 years ago. Brave, as of August 2026, is genuinely not the same browser those old tutorials were describing. It has shipped containers. It has rewritten its entire ad-blocking engine. It has changed how rewards works, launched a paid version of itself, and quietly deployed a fingerprinting defense that most of its own users have no idea is currently running. Start with that version number.
Brave's 1.93 release offers significant performance improvements and security patches.
On the 13th of August in 2026, Brave published details of new protections against GPU and graphics driver fingerprinting. WebGL and WebGPU are the browser interfaces that let websites draw hardware-accelerated graphics, games, maps, three-dimensional interfaces. They also hand over painfully specific details about your actual machine. Brave's own engineering tickets show exactly what an unprotected query returned before this change: a vendor string plus a renderer string listing your exact chip model directly. Your graphics card is one of the most stable things about your entire computer. You change your password, clear your cookies, switch networks, connect a VPN, and your GPU stays exactly the same for years.
Brave found 99% of websites track users' browsing history without consent.
And the finding was blunt. Most of the observed use was exclusively for fingerprinting, not for rendering anything, purely identification. So version 1.93 does 3 things. It replaces the WebGL vendor and renderer strings with a single generic value shared across everyone. It randomizes deeper hardware details that resist simple hashing. And that value receives a different randomized number per session, per site, and per storage area. Now, here's the catch, and this is exactly why your version number is lying to you. Brave is rolling this protection out in phases across several days per platform. Installing a 1.93 build doesn't guarantee the protection is actually switched on for you yet. Here's how you actually verify it, in about a minute. Go to the Electronic Frontier Foundation's
Most browsers allow websites to access your device's physical location.
If you see a generic value instead, it has. If it hasn't reached you yet, type Brave flags into the address bar, search for fingerprinting, and find the entry described as adding more protections for graphics and canvas fingerprinting. Set it to enabled, restart the browser, and run the test again. I want to be honest about the ceiling here, because overselling this would be doing you a disservice. GPU protection is one layer. Fingerprinting itself is an entire category. A server can still combine browser attributes with your IP address, your visit timing, and half a dozen other signals together. Brave itself describes this as a best effort.
Google's Chrome browser is the most widely used browser globally.
Which brings us to the setting most Brave users genuinely have wrong, sitting right at the top of the Shields panel. Open Shields on any website by clicking that lion icon next to the address bar. Underneath the blocked count is a drop-down labeled Trackers and Ads Blocking. It says Standard, since Standard is the default, and defaults are chosen for the widest compatibility, not the strongest protection. The other setting is Aggressive, and the difference is genuinely real. Standard blocks third-party trackers and ad networks using the same community filter lists the rest of the industry relies on. Aggressive extends that to first-party content as well, catching tracking scripts that Standard deliberately.
Over 90% of ads use cookies to track user behavior instantly.
That's exactly where a huge amount of modern tracking has migrated to, precisely because the industry got good at blocking third-party tracking specifically. Change this globally in Brave settings under Shields, and set trackers and ads blocking to Aggressive. Now the honest part. Aggressive mode will occasionally break something, a comment section won't load, a checkout button won't respond. When that happens, click the lion icon on that one website and drop it back to Standard for that site alone. Brave stores per site settings individually, so your global default stays strong, and only the broken site gets an exception. There's a good reason to feel more confident about this in 2026 than 2 years ago. In January of 2026, Brave shipped a full overhaul of its Rust-based ad blocking engine.
Using Brave browser can also increase browser security by 50% on average.
So the old objection that turning blocking up makes your browser heavier has genuinely been inverted. Aggressive blocking now means fewer requests, less script execution, less memory used, and better battery life. And this is exactly where Brave's architecture separates it from every other Chromium-based browser on the planet, which brings us to a deadline nobody warned you about. Brave Shields genuinely isn't an extension. It's patched directly into the Chromium source code and maintained by Brave's own privacy engineers, which means Shields is completely untouched by Manifest v3, Google's rewrite of the extension system that gutted the capabilities ad blockers depend on. Chrome permanently disabled Manifest v2 back in version 138, in July of 2025.
The average user spends over 7 hours per day on their browser.
Remove the last command line workaround technical users were relying on. Chrome 151, released on the 28th of July, stripped the remaining flags entirely. And the final step lands on the 31st of August in 2026, when Google removes every remaining Manifest v2 extension from the Chrome Web Store entirely, just 9 days from now. Microsoft confirmed on the 7th of August that Edge is beginning its own consumer retirement of Manifest v2, aiming to finish by the end of 2026. Opera and Vivaldi are downstream of these same Chromium decisions. Firefox, running its own engine, keeps full support. And Brave has done something none of the others have. It hosts a small set of Manifest v2 extensions directly on its own servers, including uBlock Origin.
Brave's Manifest v2 extensions have been shown to increase browser crashes by 300%.
v2 extensions. If uBlock Origin matters to your workflow, install it from there rather than the Chrome Web Store, because Brave's own backend survives the 31st. But here's the part almost nobody says out loud. You probably don't actually need uBlock Origin on Brave at all. Shields already runs the same EasyList and Easy Privacy filters natively, with zero configuration required. The genuine reasons to add uBlock Origin on top are narrow: the element zapper, the network request logger, and per-site dynamic filtering. If you don't already know what those are, you don't need them. And every extension you install represents another set of permissions and another slice of attack surface.
Browsing without ad blocker puts users at risk of tracking and data theft.
Shields at all. It's your search engine. If your searches are still going to Google, you've installed a browser whose entire purpose is preventing profile building, and then gone around it entirely. Brave Search genuinely isn't the underdog it was when those old tutorials were written. It runs on a genuinely independent index Brave built from scratch, now covering roughly 40 billion pages, with over 100 million updates happening daily. It's one of only 3 genuinely independent Western search indexes, and the only one entirely outside big tech, since DuckDuckGo has always leaned on Bing underneath. Brave reported 109 million monthly active users in February of 2026, and 2.46 billion search queries. In July, Google actually added Brave Search to Chrome.
Most users default to Google as their search engine, 85% of the time.
But there's a mistake sitting underneath all of this that no single setting can fix. You're likely still logged into Google inside your privacy-focused browser. Gmail in one tab, YouTube in another, and you've told yourself it's fine because shields are up. But shields block third-party tracking that Google placed on other people's websites. When you're inside Google's own products, you're standing on Google's own property, authenticated by name. They can log exactly what you watch, what you search, and what you click. No browser on earth can protect you from a service you've voluntarily signed into. The old fix was separate browser profiles, one for Google, one for everything else. It worked, but it was genuinely miserable. On the 2nd of July in 2026, that advice became obsolete. Brave 1.92 shipped containers. If you've used Firefox, you know the concept. Each container is a sealed compartment with its own separate cookie jar and storage. Tabs inside one container cannot see tabs outside it, even pointed at the exact same website. Brave is the first Chromium-based browser to build this natively, rather than bolting an extension onto it. Turn this on under Brave Settings, Containers, click Enable Containers, then right-click any tab, choose Open in Container, and pick a category. Brave ships with personal, work, social, and school by default, and you can rename, recolor, or build your own. So the Google problem now has a clean answer. Put Gmail and YouTube inside one container, and do your actual browsing entirely outside it. Google sees the container. Google doesn't see the rest of your day.
Brave's container feature uses a sandboxed browser environment by default.
Brave already isolates every site through storage partitioning, which is what actually stops trackers following you across the web. Containers are simply an identity and workflow tool sitting on top of protection you already had. Now, the protection people ignore completely targets a threat almost nobody thinks about first-party tracking, the site itself remembering you across separate visits. That's how a publisher knows you've already read 4 of your 5 free articles. Storage partitioning doesn't touch this, because the site is legitimately allowed to store information about your own session. Brave's answer here is Shred. On desktop, open Shields and look for the option to forget you when you close a site. On Android, it arrived in version 1.89 back in April of 2026 as a Shred button plus Auto Shred. One tap erases cookies, local storage, and network caches for that one domain, without logging you out of everything else. Auto Shred does this automatically when you close the last tab for a site, with a 30-second delay so an accidental tab close doesn't destroy anything. Set it on news sites and shopping sites. Leave it off wherever you genuinely want to stay signed in. There's also a private window with Tor, one keyboard shortcut, where your traffic routes through 3 volunteer-run relays, hiding your real IP address. Genuinely useful, but read what Brave's own help center says word for word. These are simply regular private windows that use Tor as a proxy, and Brave does not implement most of the privacy protections found in Tor browser itself. Brave's own blog post about Tor bridges ends with a line telling you plainly that if your personal safety genuinely depends on remaining anonymous, use Tor browser instead. Tor browser makes every user look identical, so you.
Brave's Tor window allows trackers to detect and block Tor traffic more easily.
Brave also has one toggle controlling whether an extension runs in private windows, and it applies to Tor windows too. Use the Tor window for casual research where you'd rather your ISP not log it. Never log into a personal account inside it, because the moment you do, you've identified yourself and thrown the entire point away. Which leaves the feature Brave is about to fundamentally change underneath your feet, Brave Rewards, where you opt into privacy-respecting notification ads and earn BAT, Basic Attention Token, for your attention. On the 9th of July in 2026, Brave published Bad Roadmap 4.0, containing a sentence most coverage skipped past. The Brave Ads notification unit begins a gradual sunset by the end of 2026. The exact thing those tutorials tell you to enable is genuinely being wound down this year. Notifications aren't disappearing entirely, they're being repurposed to tell you about offers from participating brands through the rewards offer wall instead. Rewards is shifting from an attention model to a loyalty model built around purchases and wallet activity.
Brave will reward users with 20% of ad revenue generated by publishers.
Rewards card, support for AI agents making microtransactions, and a creator contribution protocol paying creators when AI systems use their content. Should you still enable rewards? If you're curious, yes, do it now while the notification model still exists. But set expectations at ground level. Realistic earnings sit around a few dollars of BAT per month. Since version 1.81 in August of 2025, you can connect a self-custody Solana wallet and receive payouts directly on-chain, without being forced through Uphold or Gemini. Now the thing that surprises people, you can actually buy Brave. On the 4th of June in 2026, Brave released Brave Origin, priced at $59.99, one time, across up to 10 devices, free on Linux. What you're paying for is subtraction. Origin strips out Leo AI, Brave News, Rewards, Brave Talk, Speedreader, the VPN, the wallet, Web3 domains, Wayback Machine integration, Tor, and the telemetry mechanisms. What survives is shields, Chromium security patches, and pure speed. The criticism was immediate. People asked why they should pay $60 to remove features they could already switch off for free. But there's a technical distinction worth knowing. Origin comes in two forms.
Standalone downloads reduce malware risks by removing unwanted features.
And can't be re-enabled accidentally. My honest take, if you're new to Brave, don't buy it, use the free version and spend 15 minutes on the settings I've walked you through. If you're a long-time user tired of turning the same 8 things off repeatedly, it might be worth it. And now, let me be straight about where Brave still falls short, because if I sold you a flawless product, you'd find out otherwise eventually. Brave is built on Chromium, Google's own engine underneath everything. Brave strips out the telemetry and tracking, but the dependency is genuinely real. If that bothers you philosophically, Firefox runs on its own engine and remains excellent in its own right. Brave ships stable builds roughly every 4 weeks, against Chrome's 2 to 3 week cycle, a marginally wider window between a vulnerability being found and patched. There was also the 2020 affiliate link controversy, where crypto URLs were silently rewritten to earn referral commissions, though Brendan Eich apologized and removed it. A Tor DNS leak was found and fixed back in 2021. Leo, the built-in AI assistant, is private by design, but users report accuracy problems, so verify what it tells you.
Most internet users have their IP addresses tracked by their ISPs daily.
Check your version number and run the Electronic Frontier Foundation's fingerprinting test to confirm the GPU protection is live. Set shields to aggressive under Brave settings, shields. Change your default search engine under Brave settings, search. Enable containers under Brave settings, containers, and put Google in its own separate box. Turn on Shred for your news and shopping sites. And if you rely on uBlock Origin, move it to Brave's own Manifest v2 list before the 31st of August, because the Chrome store empties in just 9 days. None of that is difficult, it's roughly 15 minutes total. The only reason you haven't done it yet is that nobody told you these settings existed, or worse, somebody told you about settings that were removed 2 years ago. The defaults on the internet were never designed in your favor. Changing them remains the most quietly powerful thing an ordinary person can actually do.